Now on 4 News Now at 6, a possible hate crime in Cheney. See who police are searching for and hear from the woman who had her rainbow flag stolen.
Beautiful day across the inland northwest. I'll let you know how much longer this sunny, warm weather is going to last in the First Alert forecast.
A lifeline to a better life. How a simple piece of plastic can drastically change the lives of those living at Camp Hope. You're watching 4 News Now at 6 o'clock.
Cheney police say they are looking for these 3 men in this surveillance video. They believe they are connected to a possible hate crime.
Well, officers say they stole and damaged flags and banners that represent the homeowners' beliefs and political views.
And Cheney police say they've made no arrests at this point. They're now asking for the public's help to track these guys down. And our Peter Choi is in Cheney, where the 3 men stole and damaged her flag. So, Peter, can you still see damage there?
Yeah, you could actually see the footprints on this porch right now. Take a look at this. Now, the police say that these men are still out on the streets. Now, the homeowner tells me today that she's afraid to sleep at night.
I think it's been 4 times now.
It's one of the worst nightmares for homeowners. In the middle of night, 3 people covering their faces with ski masks and take down a rainbow pride flag and a Black Lives Matter flag.
It's kind of been a ride of nervousness and being startled, but also being really angry and determined, and to persevere through it.
She says these crimes happen mostly when she's not at her house.
Which makes me also nervous, because it's like, were they watching my house? To know when I'm here or not.
And since then, she installed more cameras and lights around her home. Also let the police department and FBI know, fearing these men might be involved with local hate groups.
This is absolutely not acceptable. And in fact, our Cheney police is actively involved in investigating this.
Cheney city officials say hate crimes don't happen often in Cheney.
One that seems to have a certain intent to it. And again, that's not who the city of Cheney is. And we want to bring these people to justice.
Now, the homeowner says she wants this place, her house, to be a safe place for people. Now, the Cheney Police Department is asking the public for help so that they can track down these people and make arrests. In Cheney tonight, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
Peter, thank you. Well, if you like the weather today, you are in luck. Tomorrow's about the same.
Yeah, the warm fall is sticking around for now. Let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker for a look at our First Alert forecast.
Oh, yes, this broken record is not going to stay that way much longer. Obviously, 70 degrees and sunny can't keep going on indefinitely, but in the short term, we have more sunny, warm days and clear, cool nights. It is going to be a beautiful weekend. Take advantage. No rain yet, but it is eventually showing up in the long-range forecast. Temperatures right now around the region are still in the 70s at Fairchild Air Force Base, Spokane International, and in downtown Spokane. It's 71 right now in Cheney, or Spangle, rather. We find a lot of 60s around the area, including in Bonners Ferry at 61, 64 right now in Pullman. It's 70 degrees in Lewiston. Air quality has been in the good range today around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, occasionally in spots getting up into that moderate range, but things are looking pretty good. We're still seeing that smoke building up under a ridge of high pressure, and so we'll keep a very close eye on our air quality in the coming days. In the meantime, enjoy a beautiful Thursday with a high temperature almost 15 degrees above average. As I have been hinting, we're starting to see a little bit of change showing up in the forecast. I will let you know what to expect in just a few minutes. Kirsten?
Chris, thank you. And brand new tonight at 6, anyone using the Passport app to pay for parking in downtown Spokane will need to switch over to a new app that starts Friday. The city is officially switching over to Park Mobile. The switch is part of the Parking Service Department's next phase of their plan to simplify street parking. A part of that plan is installing new parking meters east of Washington to Division and south of Spokane Falls Boulevard to First Avenue. The city says the new meters will not only accept mobile payment, but also credit cards, debit cards, and coins.
The Washington Attorney General is now sounding the alarm over pre-checked boxes at online checkouts that have signed up millions of Washingtonians for a subscription service they did not want. Attorney General Bob Ferguson says they all thought they were making a one-time purchase, but they were automatically billed a few weeks later. His office surveyed more than 1,200 of those affected. Many said they haven't canceled the unwanted subscription because it was too difficult. Anyone who is going through a similar situation is asked to contact the Attorney General's office.
An updated COVID booster shot, Aaron, could soon be available to kids as young as 5 years old. The FDA has given emergency use authorization for Pfizer's and Moderna's updated one-dose shot. The new ones target the original strain and the Omicron subvariants. The CDC still has to recommend the new shot before they can be given out.
If you've taken an evening stroll or maybe a bike ride around the neighborhood, you might have had a mouthful of them or even a nose full.
Yuck. We're going to hear from meteorologist Matt Gray all about that. He'll show you what you need to know about this year's aphid swarm.
There it is.
And the man who called the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting a hoax now has to pay nearly $1 billion in damages to the victims' families. Why his attorney says those families are being used. Coming up.
People living at Camp Hope now have access to even more services. Hear how one state department is stepping in to help, coming up on 4 News Now at 6.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Save your greed! My husband has diabetes.
Even with health insurance, we're having a hard time affording our medications.
Thankfully, we have Patty Murray fighting for us in the U.S. Senate. She kept at it till Congress finally lowered the cost of prescription drugs.
And capped insulin for seniors at $35 a month.
Now we'll save thousands every year. We know when Patty is back in the other Washington.
She is working for us.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
Friday, get this. The one, the only. Ed Sheeran is here, live.
Ooh, I love it when you do it like
It's Ed Sheeran in a GMA morning concert event. Friday only on Good Morning America. Sponsored by CarMax.
I've never liked political ads that attack, but we need to bring the facts to light. My opponent believes that Tent City has never caused an increase in crime. With Mr. Jordan, we can expect more crime, more taxes, and more regulations that make housing more expensive. I support safer neighborhoods, lower taxes, and addressing homelessness and housing. I support you, the hardworking people of Spokane, because like you, I'm one of them. Vote Kim, please, for County Commissioner.
If you're looking to score big on the best lineup of certified used or new SUVs and trucks just in time for the winter months, plus get up to 60 months low interest financing, then come on down to Finley for a touchdown of savings.
Next ET, our epic exclusive with Chip and Joanna Gaines in Waco, Texas.
Was there ever a point where you're like, Chip, why do we need a castle?
Thank you for stepping right on the nerve, right off the bat.
Their biggest fixer-upper ever, and planning for more kids?
I think the more the merrier.
I think
this
what she
guy's
meant
done.
to say, though.
Plus,
yeah.
we're with Nick and Vanessa Lachey talking Love is Blind Season 3. Next ET.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30.
People living at Camp Hope are now another step closer to being able to leave the camp on their own. Representatives from the State Department of Licensing were on site to get IDs for people living there.
Over enthused. I don't even know. I'm kind of speechless about it, honestly.
With these IDs, people living at the camp can apply for jobs, housing, and do a lot more than they could do before they got the IDs.
Well, today was the first time the Department of Licensing was at Camp Hope, and it does plan to come back. Bronte Sorotsky is live at Camp Hope with what these IDs will mean for people living there. Bronte.
Well, Aaron, this is huge for people living at Camp Hope. For some, these IDs are the missing piece that they need to find housing.
If it wasn't for me being able to get my ID today, I'd probably be screwed.
Dorothy Baxter has lived at Camp Hope since the beginning.
I've been here since City Hall. I moved over here when they moved over here.
She says she's tried to leave, but without an ID, she couldn't apply for housing.
Between that and not having an address, I mean, I'm going with housing and everything now, and they need my ID, and that's pretty much all they're waiting for.
The Department of Licensing says lack of ID is the main barricade for those trying to exit homelessness.
For folks experiencing homelessness, in order for them to get into housing, to get medical care, to potentially get a job, open a bank account, they need ID. So DOL here today is really just trying to help those folks get that one piece of plastic that sets them up for success.
The Department of Licensing says it falls in line with their mission and vision to help everyone living in the state.
Getting housing, getting medical, cashing a check, anything like that, you need an identification card. So that's something that we're helping with here, issuing identification cards to the individuals experiencing homelessness.
Now, people like Dorothy living in the camp have a much better chance of finding jobs and finding a way out. Now, the Department of Licensing will continue to provide these services every Wednesday for the next 3 weeks. Reporting live in East Central, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
Bronte, thank you. Breaking news tonight, Cheney's chief of police has resigned. Chief John Hensley submitted his letter of resignation yesterday. We sent KXLY's Jordan Smith Cheney to find out why.
Aaron, a lot of unanswered questions still remain here in Cheney following John Hensley's resignation as the city's chief of police. We're still unclear as to why Hensley resigned from the position and why it was so sudden, but we were able to get our hands on a copy of that of his resignation letter via a public records request, and it should be available on your screen now. It's just 14 words long. It reads, "Pursuant to your request, I resign as the Cheney Chief of Police, effective immediately." It was addressed to Mayor Chris Grover. Nothing else was attached. It was just one sentence long. And so we reached out to the mayor twice today. The first time was before we got a hold of that letter. He told us he would not comment on personnel issues within the city, and city officials are working on finding an interim chief. Shortly after obtaining that letter through that public records request, we went back to the mayor's office for comment, but we were told he was no longer in the building. And I spoke with several people on the street, all of them very surprised to find out that Hensley had resigned. So as I mentioned, a lot of unanswered questions, and this story is developing. We'll be sure to provide you the latest updates as we receive them. Reporting in Cheney, I'm Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.
Our air quality right now in Spokane is in the good range. I'm not taking that for granted, though. With high pressure in control, we may see some more smoke building up around the region. I'll tell you about that high pressure and the changes coming eventually in the forecast after the break.
And before we go to break, we do want to remind you that Election Day is quickly approaching. Here at 4 News Now, we want to take your questions directly to the candidates. You can submit your questions anytime at kxly.com/forthepeople.
Attention hikers, bikers, and horseback riders. Public access is prohibited on Antoine Peaks Tower Road from Robbins Road to the summit, October 10th through the 14th for erosion control work. Use caution and watch for heavy equipment. Thanks for your cooperation. Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Move Fitness.
This is it, the moment you've been waiting for. Game day. No, game days. More than you can count. And at Turf Club Sportsbook, we've got all the action. With real sports betting, wall-to-wall HD TVs, and luxury seating. Just off the casino floor at Northern Quest, so you can bet, watch, and win on every game day. Turf Club Sportsbook, the ultimate game changer. Only at Northern Quest.
How would you like to buy a vehicle for $20? Well, this Saturday, you can at all 3 Cal locations as they celebrate their 20-year anniversary by flipping a coin, heads or tails, to see who gets to buy a vehicle for $20.
Get your home ready for the holidays at Walker's as they offer a double your sales tax discount or no minimum purchase, no money down, no interest for up to 5 years financing.
Making it the perfect time to furnish your life for less at Walker's.
A lot of politicians like to talk big, but where's the action? Al French is a leader we can trust, and Al's results speak for themselves. Al has won funding for our roads to keep goods moving. As costs skyrocket, Al has pledged no county property tax increase. His opponent wants to give criminals a get-out-of-jail-free card, while Al dedicated more funding to the Sheriff's Department to keep families safe.
I'm Al French. I'm asking for your vote so I can keep getting results for you.
If you're looking to score big on the best lineup of certified used or new SUVs and trucks just in time for the winter months, plus get up to 60 months low interest financing, then come on down to Finley for a touchdown of savings.
Safe Passage provides counseling, shelter, and resources for survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking across North Idaho.
Safe Passage offers 24-hour crisis lines, shelter, court advocacy, licensed counselors, and more for survivors of all ages. Our services are free and confidential.
Numerica Credit Union is honored to partner with organizations like Safe Passage as they work to enhance lives, fulfill dreams, and build communities.
Check out more organizations that make our communities stronger at numericacu.com. The sun is set. It's still 71 degrees in Spokane. We do have a few clouds passing through, but that's just making the sunset even more beautiful. They will be clearing out. It is clear, and 62 degrees in Coeur d'Alene, cooling down quickly. 46 for an overnight low tonight with mostly clear skies. That's a little above average. 74 for a high tomorrow. That's a lot above average, almost 15 degrees above average with blue skies, sunshine, light winds, a day very much like what we saw today. Thanks to a ridge of high pressure that just doesn't seem to want to quit. Here's a look at our upper level winds. This is our forecast starting off at our current time. I'll go ahead and take you all the way through Thursday, all the way into Friday, because very little is going to be changing with this ridge of high pressure. Occasional variations, for example, as we get into late Friday, we may see a little bit of a dip that will allow a weak disturbance passing by to our east to pick up our winds a little bit. That will be a good thing. Stir up some smoke, hopefully, and disperse it. Otherwise, you could see all of the energy off of the Pacific going north and into Canada. We are going to be staying dry and warm right on through the weekend. I do encourage you to savor this weekend because there are going to be some changes. And once the shoe drops, it's over in terms of this summer-like weather. This is our 500 millibar for Saturday, October 23rd, and sometime about Thursday, Friday of next week, we're going to start to see our weather pattern change with this big dip forming. And you can see the colors here are very intuitive. These are the cold colors indicating some cool air coming in. Also, there's definitely a consensus in the computer models that we're going to see some wet weather developing starting about, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. That is why I'm really encouraging you to take this weekend and run with it, because once we cool down, it is really going to start to feel like fall, and eventually the cold season is going to be upon us. Overnight lows tonight will be down in the 30s in some spots, 40s elsewhere, again running just a little above average around the region. 50 in Grand Coulee and Lewiston, 39 in Sandpoint, 32 in Colville. Definitely in the sheltered valleys, still getting down around freezing. Highs tomorrow in the 70s just about everywhere, pushing 80 in Lewiston and Winthrop, as well as Wenatchee and Grand Coulee, 72 in Bonners Ferry, upper 60s in Sandpoint. Here is your planning forecast. Plan on lots of sunshine. If this were an 8-day forecast, I think Thursday might start this transition with a few more clouds, and things will go down rapidly from there. So there's 7 really nice days to enjoy before we get down to the more serious business of fall. Kirsten?
Gotta savor it. Thank you, Chris. Well, there's something in the air and it's alive.
Nothing scary, just maybe the most annoying pest in the inland Northwest. Yes, that was supposed to rhyme. New at 6, Matt Gray has us covered on this year's aphid swarm.
Yeah, you guys can blame me for the scripting, all right? If you have certain trees in your neighborhood, you might be seeing something like this right now. Even if you don't, you're probably seeing this. A swarm of fuzzy and incredibly annoying little creatures. You head down the wrong street when you're walking the dog and you'll have a mouthful of these critters for your trouble. They're woolly ash aphids and they show up around this time every year. They spend the summer sucking the sap out of fir trees and then fly over to the ash trees in the fall to reproduce and annoy us before winter comes along. So here on the screen you can see some examples of each of these trees where these aphids like to hang out. According to Washington State University, these aphids leave behind honeydew as they suck out the sap. Now, this can attract ants and other creatures and can grow some unsightly black mold. It's ugly, but they're not a major threat to the health of your trees, despite all the activity that you're seeing from them. WSU doesn't recommend any pesticides for this. Instead, they say to prune infested branches if you have ash trees or spray those aphids off with a water hose on high pressure, of course. Once we start to get freezing weather, these pesky bugs, they're going to die off. But this year, well, as you know, cold temperatures have never seemed so far away. Our average first freeze in Spokane is early October. We are nowhere close to that. And there are a lot of communities, including Spokane, that haven't even gotten down to the 30s at night yet this season. As Chris showed you, it looks like that might change. But for now, we're waiting. In Spokane, usually by mid-September, we've seen some 30s around town. So we've got perfect aphid weather, and at least as far as average or above average temperatures, no major cool off in sight in the near-term forecast. We'll see how things progress the weekend after this coming one. Now, so those for now, I guess, those fuzzy bugs, they're not going anywhere. And I tell you, taking a walk out in the evening, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Oh, I could say so many things. Thank you, Matt. Well, still ahead, Russia continues an aerial assault of Ukraine. How world leaders are responding and why the UN is keeping a close eye on Putin. That's coming up.
And health experts are preparing for flu cases to skyrocket this year. What steps you can take to keep your kids from getting sick? Coming up on 4 News Now at 6.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
It's time for a new shower, but you don't want the hassle. You just want it done. Rebath, from start to stunning. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $1,250 off your complete bathroom remodel.
If you've been looking for a new vehicle in the current market, you may be hearing things like extra charges, added accessories, or second sticker.
Not at Coeur d'Alene Honda. We make it easy.
We'll keep you posted until your new Honda arrives, give you a fair value for your trade, and give you a lifetime warranty at no additional cost to you.
Well, that was easy. Come meet the team and purchase your next vehicle at Coeur d'Alene Honda.
And don't forget about our lifetime warranty.
Call today for our available inventory and check out our website at cdahonda.com.
Joe Biden's open borders have threatened our neighborhoods and our children's safety. Fentanyl-related deaths have increased right here in Idaho. Gang members transport fentanyl and other dangerous drugs into our schools and communities. This has got to stop. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. It's time we control the borders and shut down the pipeline of drugs and violence into Idaho.
Watch 4 News Now as the Extreme Team upgrades the Carl Maxey Center. What we're going to do is go in and get into the next phase of operation. That's going to be a new library. There's going to be a place in back. There's going to be a nice patio. Watch 4 News Now's Extreme Team, sponsored by Horizon Credit Union.
Tiffany Smiley celebrated the overturning of Roe versus Wade. There's no way I can trust her to protect us.
Tiffany Smiley would tip control of the Senate to Mitch McConnell.
That is a disaster.
She could give Mitch McConnell the power to rig the courts with more anti-choice judges.
And pass a complete nationwide abortion ban. This is serious stuff.
And Tiffany Smiley still supports Donald Trump.
No way. No way.
No way we can trust Tiffany Smiley.
Women voters responsible for the content of this advertising.
If you're looking to score big on the best lineup of certified used or new SUVs and trucks just in time for the winter months, plus get up to 60 months low interest financing, then come on down to Finley for a touchdown of savings.
It's time for a new shower, but you don't want the hassle. You just want it done. Rebath, from start to stunning. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $1,250 off your complete bathroom remodel.
4 News Now is brought to you by Carpet Barn.
New tonight at 6. Tomorrow, the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection will hold their 10th and possibly their last public hearing ahead of the midterm election.
CNN's Sarah Murray reports on what committee members say they have uncovered and what they say you need to know.
The January 6th committee making its closing argument ahead of the November midterms.
There's some new material that, I found as we got into it pretty surprising.
Sources say they're aiming to drive home that former President Donald Trump still poses a danger to democracy, using a mix of new evidence and reminders of their prior work.
It's really demonstrated the breadth and the depth of the effort to overturn the election and to stop the peaceful transfer of power. And it was an effort that at every step of the way, the former president was deeply involved in, personally engaged in.
While live witnesses are not expected, members are preparing to showcase previously unseen emails from Secret Service, which recently turned over more than 1 million communications, as well as new video. Since the last hearing in July,
the president's stolen election lies provoked that mob to attack the Capitol.
The committee interviewed Trump cabinet members, including former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and former Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao. And they interviewed Ginny Thomas, wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
We still have significant information that we've not shown to the public that's available to us.
Members hinting the hearing could also highlight the role of longtime Trump ally Roger Stone.
What they're assuming is that the election will be normal. The election will not be normal.
And ties between Trump's circle and violent extremist groups.
The mob was led by some extremist groups. They plotted in advance what they were going to do. And those individuals were known to people in the Trump orbit.
The committee reconvening in public for the first time since the FBI searched Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate and since a DOJ probe into efforts to subvert the 2020 election has intensified. With midterms less than a month away, a key focus is Trump's continued efforts.
I ran twice. I won twice.
To spread the falsehood that the 2020 election was stolen and ensure election deniers take office.
We've gotten a much better handle on the continuing clear and present danger that confronts the people of America.
Around the world tonight, Russia continues its onslaught of airstrikes in Ukraine, the latest attack raising concerns over a potential nuclear accident.
World leaders saying Russian President Vladimir Putin will be held accountable for his actions. Military experts say Russian President Putin's recent attacks on civilian targets are desperate, and his repeated threats to use tactical nuclear weapons can't be ignored. During an interview on CNN, President Biden addressed those concerns.
Once you use a nuclear weapon, the mistakes that can be made, the miscalculations, who knows what would happen.
Despite that, the president does not believe Putin will launch a nuclear attack. Still, NATO leaders say they are closely monitoring him.
Around the nation tonight, the host and owner of a far-right conspiracy theory and fake news website now has to pay nearly $1 billion for calling the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting a hoax. A Connecticut judge ordered Alex Jones to pay the money to the families of the deadly Sandy Hook school shooting. The judgment far exceeds the award in a similar case in Texas where Jones was ordered to pay around $50 million. The Jones, who was live on the radio as the verdict was read, told his listeners, quote, "This must be what hell is like. They just read out the damages even though you don't get the money." His attorney echoing that statement.
We live in divided times. They've been weaponized and used for political purposes in this country, in my view. And today is a very, very, very dark day for freedom of speech.
Jones's lawyers say he's planning on appealing the verdict.
Well, keeping your home warm this winter might cost a little extra this year.
We'll break down how much more you could expect to pay. That's coming up.
Flu season is here and doctors are warning it could be a bad one. I'll have what steps your family can take to be prepared.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
I've never liked political ads that attack, but we need to bring the facts to light.
My opponent believes that Tent City has never caused an increase in crime. With Mr. Jordan, we can expect more crime, more taxes, and more regulations that make housing more expensive. I support safer neighborhoods, lower taxes, and addressing homelessness and housing. I support you, the hardworking people of Spokane, because like you, I'm one of them. Vote Kim, please, for County Commissioner.
My husband and I have had the Harvester for about 13 years. If there's anything you want to know about Spangle, come in and find out at the Harvester. Avista contacted us about a business partner program to upgrade our lights to LED lights. Between the energy efficient rebates that we got and the grant, it was completely free to us. On our energy bill, we're saving about $500 a month. Everything has gone up, so that savings has been a huge help to the restaurant.
Get exactly what you want. Wendell Ford is ready to help you find that vehicle you've been wanting to buy. Built for you. F-150, Bronco, Bronco Sport, Explorer, Mach-E, and Maverick. Here's how it works. Make a list of options you want. Wendell will work with you on financing to fit your budget. And then we will order the vehicle of your dreams or select from current inventory. Get exactly what you want. Built for you. Wendell Ford at the Y. Drive for generations.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
The accused parade massacre driver, his bizarre courtroom antics as he stands trial.
Mr. Brooks, final warning.
Next, Inside Edition. Can you believe he's acting as his own attorney? Coming face to face with the victims in court.
Mr. Brooks, we have rules.
Then, testing the new iPhone feature that Apple says can automatically call 911 if you're in an accident. How effective is it? Next, Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7. Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
Flu seasons have been relatively mild for the last 2 years because of the isolation we experienced during the pandemic, and that probably means your smaller children don't have immunity built for the flu.
This year, doctors are predicting a strong comeback for the flu. Vanessa Perez is here in studio with how you can prepare your family. Vanessa.
Well, if you haven't received your flu shot, doctors say now is a good time to do it. People are back at work and kids are back in school. Plus, we're not masking up as much anymore, which could be a recipe for a bad flu season. Jamie Marsh is a mother of 2 teens. The flu just hit her family home.
Well, my son has asthma, so I was a little worried, and he had a really high fever. So I ended up taking him to urgent care because I was worried.
Her family eventually recovered. Those who are at higher risk of getting more sick from the flu are the elderly, people with underlying health problems, and pregnant women.
To go to school, to keep our kids on track academically, and as we approach holidays, to be able to participate in Thanksgiving and our winter holidays. So I absolutely encourage the vaccination for that reason, and they're very safe.
Also, since we haven't seen a bad flu season in a couple years, doctors say younger children probably don't have the immunity. Children older than 6 months can get a flu shot.
Kids are now in the habit of lots of hand washing and hand sanitizing. That's still going to be really important. If there is an outbreak and your child or you feel comfortable, wearing a mask is still perfectly acceptable. It's a really effective way to keep ourselves healthy.
Marsh always makes sure her teens get the flu shot, but sometimes misses out on it herself.
I was always worried that it was going to make me sick because I've heard people that make them sick, and with working full time, it's hard to get sick. But after COVID and going through all that, I just think it's important that I stay on top of vaccines for myself and my family.
Doctors say people haven't stayed on top of receiving flu shots over the last 2 years. Experts say if your child gets sick, keep them at home because respiratory illnesses like flu and COVID are highly contagious. Most pharmacies are offering flu shots, which are free through health insurance. Live in studio, Vanessa Perez, 4 News Now.
Well, I got my
flu shot right here on 4 News Now at 6:30. So I'm in good shape. Here's a live look over downtown Spokane. Thank you, Vanessa. Beautiful, beautiful evening in progress despite the ash aphids, and that temperature is dropping quickly. Here are 4 things to know about your weather. Sunny and warm days with clear, cool nights. A nice weekend coming up. As I said earlier, you'll want to take advantage of it because that might be our last warm weekend for a while, quite a while. No rain in the forecast. Here's a look at our temperatures right now across the region. We are in the 60s and still in the 70s at the airport in Spokane at Fairchild Air Force Base. We also find some 70s in the Omak area as well as Lewiston. It's still 73 degrees in Moses Lake. Overnight lows tonight primarily in the upper 30s and 40s around the region. Here is a look at your Thursday planner. Sunshine with a high temperature of 74 degrees. Our average high is only 60 degrees. It will be a cool start, however. We'll be down in the 40s in the morning. So sweatshirts at the bus stop and short sleeves in the afternoon. I will be back in just a few minutes with some Wildlife Wednesday photos. I've got some good ones this week. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Kirsten?
Chris, thank you. And some of you may already be running your heaters at night. This winter, you're probably going to spend more money than usual to heat your home. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is predicting a 6% increase in the number of days heating will be needed this year. According to the Energy Information Administration, Americans who use propane for heat will see a rise in price of about $80 this winter. For the 40% of houses that use electric heating, electricity bills this winter could rise more than $100. Natural gas customers can expect an increase of about $200 for the season. And for less than 5% of folks who heat their homes with oil, their heat will be the most expensive, with costs predicted to jump $1,200.
You can expect your grocery bill to be even higher than it usually is this month. Today, the Labor Department reported a larger than expected jump in producer prices. That report looks at prices paid for goods and services before they reach you. Energy went up by 0.7%, food prices jumped 1.2%, and services are up 0.4%. The Federal Reserve has been trying to bring down inflation by raising interest rates, but there are concerns that it's happening too fast and could lead to a recession. President Joe Biden remains confident that the American economy is strong.
I don't think there will be a recession. If it is, it'll be a very slight recession.
These increases affect wholesale prices, but they are likely to be passed on to you in the form of higher grocery bills.
Well, all week, Mark Peterson and the Extreme team have been hard at work building a library at the new Carl Maxey Center in Spokane. It was the founder, Sandy Williams' dream to give kids a place where they could learn about technology and art. And tragically, she was one of the 10 people who died in a seaplane crash last month. Let's send it over to Mark to see what still needs to be done before tomorrow's big reveal.
So we have had another busy day. We've gotten everything painted. We're starting to put the track up for the artwork. In fact, take a look. That's actually me putting up the track. Yeah, I ran out of volunteers. They're all outside painting or in here doing something. So I actually had to work. Okay, enough of that. I need to lose weight. Okay, so we've got, again, the crew putting in what will be the closet, and we're going to have tongue and groove pine that goes over that. So we're just sheeting it. It doesn't need sheetrock. Technology wall. We've got not only the power, but we also have the Cat 5 cable in there. And Friendly Computers is hooking us up. We're going to put 2 towers under there, and then the workstations left and right. It's going to be wonderful. And Noisy Frog, yeah, they're putting in the TV and all the technology. So we love Noisy Frog. So that's happening out here. Let's take a look outside. All right, the porch, the patio, the community meeting spot, getting this ready for paint. You can see it's going to be a light gray. It's going to look absolutely beautiful against the red. Horizon Credit Union volunteers once again helping us out. They're always around the paint. And then see, there's this big H-beam from CDA Metals. This is going to be part of what will be a sky net of kites to block the sun. Yeah, it gets bright out here. All right. We're going to work on that tomorrow. We've got lots to go on tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be reveal day. I'm Mark Peterson, 4 News Now, the Extreme team at the Carl Maxey Center. It's Wednesday, right?
Thank you, Mark. And the late Sandy Williams talked about these new additions to the Carl Maxey Center with Mark Peterson and the Extreme team before she was killed. Sandy was the founder and executive director of the center and wanted to build upon their mission to inspire, empower, and uplift the Black community. Program coordinator at the Carl Maxey Center, Jalissa Winkler, says she didn't anticipate being so far along on what Sandy wished for.
It really feels like the building's getting close to being done, and we can start moving on all of the ideas and all the things we wanted to do here.
We'll have a lot more on Sandy's vision becoming a reality live from the Carl Maxey Center tomorrow on Good Morning Northwest.
It's Fire Prevention and Fire Prevention Week. The Spokane Fire Department wants to make sure you are prepared. Coming up, how many escape plans you should have for each room in your home.
Plus, how the Washington State Cougars are looking to bounce back after a tough defeat last weekend.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Panhandle Carpet One, Coeur d'Alene.
I've never liked political ads that attack, but we need to bring the facts to light. My opponent believes that Tent City has never caused an increase in crime. With Mr. Jordan, we can expect more crime, more taxes, and more regulations that make housing more expensive. I support safer neighborhoods, lower taxes, and addressing homelessness and housing. I support you, the hardworking people of Spokane, because like you, I'm one of them. Vote Kim, please, for County Commissioner.
Let's take a test drive of this rugged Nissan Frontier, redesigned inside and out. There's plenty of power so you can take it anywhere, thanks to an upgraded suspension, steering system, and powertrain. The cabin has improved too with a new seat design, larger storage compartments, and a big touchscreen that's smartphone compatible. If you weren't interested in a Nissan Frontier in the past, it's time to reevaluate. Test drive one at the new Coeur d'Alene Nissan.
So five thinking that's right.
Where's the butler?
It's John Butler. Hate being judged by your name? So do we. At Consign Furniture and Jewelry, we're not what you think. Our inventory is the best in the Northwest. Like this, and this, and this. Check out the most unique shopping experience in the universe.
I proudly served our nation and fought for freedom abroad. I never expected to see our temple of democracy ransacked here at home. It's so dangerous that MAGA Republicans, like Mitch McConnell's handpicked candidate for U.S. Senate, Tiffany Smiley, continue to question the 2020 election. Their big lie is a direct threat to our elections and our democracy. Join me in defending America. Say no to Tiffany Smiley before it's too late.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
Oh, it's Wildlife Wednesday. Very exciting photos to share with you today. All local, all within the 4 News Now viewing area. And boy, this is a healthy looking cow elk. Mark Boat shared this gorgeous photo. She looks like she's been professionally groomed at the Kentucky Derby or something. But she is, despite her good looks, avoiding the rut. She was found out solo, just enjoying some me time in the sunshine in North Idaho. Thank you, Mark. Oops, I didn't duck on it. Well, she evidently wants to hog the spotlight. From Richard Cadwallader's photo from Scotchman Peak, I am going to remove that elk image and get that photo for you later. Are they all like that? Yes, they are. Well, I have obviously made a technical error here. Courtney Litwin shared some wood duck drakes. Good thing I have all of these photos on my Facebook page. I will publish that later. This was a mama moose and her 2 twins at Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge, and a beautiful Kootenai Valley coyote. Mark's gonna give me some trouble for that too, and as I'm sure the other photographers will. My deepest apologies. That is a mistake I have not made yet, a brand new one. Here is a time lapse looking to the southwest over downtown Spokane, Spokane Veterans Memorial Arena and the county courthouse as we get into the evening. Beautiful sunset early these days, 7 minutes after 6. We had a few clouds drifting through despite the fact that we have a ridge of high pressure very firmly in place over the western United States. It's going to be with us for just about 7 more days, and then we're going to start to see some changes, it looks like, in our extended forecast. In the meantime, very little variation with this ridge. We may see a weak disturbance passing by to our east Saturday that could pick up our winds a little bit, maybe bring some fresh air after a couple of days of allowing that wildfire smoke to build up in the region. Your 7-day forecast, we've got some sunshine and 70s. Overnight lows down in the 40s. Coats for Kids time. We are collecting coats throughout the inland Northwest, distributing them very soon throughout the inland Northwest. I don't have to tell you that there are a lot of families in dire need, and the cost of coats is going up, and families' other expenses are going up, so we really need your help again this year. You can go to KXLY.com/coatsforkids to get a complete list of donation locations. Aaron?
Chris, thank you. Well, fire won't wait. Plan your escape. That's this year's theme for Fire Prevention Week. The Spokane Fire Department says it's important to create a fire escape plan for your home with at least 2 exits from each bedroom. Jamie McIntyre with the fire department says even with a smoke alarm, you can have as little as 2 minutes to escape your house if there's a fire.
If you're sleeping in a room that doesn't have 2 ways out, that's a good time as a family to have a conversation. Is there a different place that you can sleep that would be a little bit safer, or what is your plan to get out?
Spokane Fire recommends practicing your home fire escape plan at least twice a year with your family. Well, new tonight at 6:30. A 9-year-old boy with autism is quickly becoming a star thanks to his art.
His father started uploading videos of his son's work online to show off how talented he is. But it didn't take long before they started getting national attention. He even made his Comic-Con debut.
It's pretty big.
ABC's Jay O'Brien explains why his father wants his son to be known for more than just his art.
9-year-old Tiger just made his New York Comic-Con debut. He showcased his unique talent on the show floor, creating vivid drawings of cartoon characters.
We bought him a little drawing pad when he was 5 years old, and he picked up his toy and he started sketching it with his finger. I got him a big whiteboard and a bunch of markers, and he just started drawing all day and all night.
His parents call him the autistic Tiger, and his dad, David, says Tiger's art is a form of therapy for him.
He has become much more calm since he started drawing.
Tiger is mostly nonverbal, and he expresses himself through his art. That's gained him media attention and live TV appearances. David says Tiger becomes hyper-focused when he's in the spotlight.
So he just kind of turns him from a little kid into Picasso, just like that when the lights go on.
And recently, Tiger has picked up a new skill, drawing upside down. David encouraged Tiger to try it, and now it catches the attention of passersby at events like Comic-Con.
But it's something he can do, and it's something we like to showcase because it shows people what he is capable of doing.
But David says he doesn't want his son to only be known as an autistic artist.
There's no, one type of autistic person. We want Tiger not to be a poster child for autism, but to show people what these kids are capable to do.
Above all, Tiger's parents say they want him to develop his craft and have options for the future.
We want him to have skills that he can use to get a job and lead a normal life.
But for Tiger, he's passionate about the characters he draws. His favorite,
I draw Stitch.
Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
If you're turning 65 soon or over 65 and planning to retire, now's the time to learn more about an AARP Medicare Supplement insurance plan from United Healthcare and get help protecting yourself from the out-of-pocket costs Medicare doesn't pay. Because the time to prepare is before you go on Medicare.
Don't wait. Get started today.
Call United Healthcare for your free decision guide.
You hear stories every single day of people being mugged or shot.
I've been accosted by homeless people and drug addicts.
It is absolutely not safe.
We're lifelong Democrats.
I have voted for Patty Murray many times. At least 5 times.
But I just can't do it this time.
We're voting for Tiffany Smiley.
Vote Tiffany Smiley.
Tiffany Smiley is the right person for the job.
She gives me hope.
I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
The nonstop sirens. This is why you don't vote for Patty Murray. It never used to be like this.
Hello, I'm Lloyd Herman. If you need legal assistance due to an accident or an injury, put my 40 years of experience of dealing with the insurance companies to work for you. You'll have an appointment to speak to me within 48 hours. Lloyd Herman & Associates, 922-6600.
How wild would it be to win $5,000 cash? Join us at Coeur d'Alene Casino as we rev up the winnings with the $100,000 Wild Wheeling Lucky You Hot Seats on select Tuesdays and Thursdays in October. Play with your Core Rewards card for a chance to be one of 20 players to win a $5,000 jackpot. Get here before they're gone. The $100,000 Wild Wheeling Lucky You Hot Seats, only at Coeur d'Alene Casino. For more information, visit cdacasino.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
There's nothing like a fresh coat of paint to transform a home, a room, or a piece of furniture. No matter the project, the folks at your local Ace Hardware store are here to help you with all your paint needs. With our wide selection of premium brand paints and accessories, the experts at Ace will make sure you have everything you need to complete your paint project, no matter how big or small. Come see us today.
Oh, life, we hear you beating out the rhythm of our days. We know you live fully. It's why we pioneer new treatments. Because when it comes to matters of the heart, you deserve world-class health care. Providence, we see the life in you.
4 News Now is brought to you by Parker Subaru.
Well, take a look at this. Oh, that's Dubai. But look, there it is. Yeah, the flying taxi tested in Dubai. This is all-electric 2-seater. It's being developed by a Chinese company and is one of dozens of flying car projects around the world. The company says it has a top speed of 80 miles per hour. Despite a successful 90-minute test flight, it will most likely be years until we see cars zipping through the air for obvious safety reasons.
It was worth the wait, that dramatic pause.
Wait for it. There it is. Washington State Cougars looking for a rebound win in Corvallis this Saturday. The Cougs haven't lost to Oregon State almost a decade.
But they are without some of their biggest playmakers. Our Alex Crescenti has more on how they're preparing for another big Pac-12 test.
For the better part of the last decade, Oregon State and Washington State have shared some battles on the field. And even though the Cougs have owned the matchup in recent years, they expect to be tested this weekend out in Corvallis against a veteran Beavers team that's already proven to be one of the better squads in the conference.
This will be a kind of a check mark of where our interior defensive line is at. You know, I do think this is the most physical offensive line that we have played, and they just have a different style of how fast they get off the ball. And I thought that was advantage that they had on us last season. So to come in here, we're gonna see the improvement that we made.
It's been huge emphasis this week is to eliminate those negative plays, and that's collectively, and that's it's okay if we're playing and it's 2nd down and 8. It's a lot easier to call a game 2nd down and 8 than 2nd down and 25 because of penalty or a sack, and so just to not put ourselves in those bad situations of going backwards. So staying ahead of the chains.
I feel like we're getting better in the playbook and knowing where Cam wants us to be, and like just being more fluid as an offense, running the ball, passing the ball, RPOs, all of that all helps the receivers, line, running backs, and quarterback together.
Now the Cougs are going to be without 2 key offensive starters. Nikia Watson and Renard Bell both sustained injuries in the first half against USC, so they're going to need other players on that side of the ball to step up if they want to move down the field. Reporting in Pullman, I'm Alex Crescenti, 4 News Now Sports.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Get your home ready for the holidays at Walker's, as they offer a double your sales tax discount or no minimum purchase, no money down, no interest for up to 5 years financing.
Making it the perfect time to furnish your life for less at Walker's.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
You eat like you took a cooking class in prison.
Whoa!
I'm big fine, too confident.
Ava, I forgot to drop off that discipline report to you.
You are no longer speaking to work, Ava. You can speak to her tomorrow.
I understood the assignment.
If you're looking to remodel your home with some new stylish flooring or maybe some modern wallscape ideas, then you need to visit one of Windsor Plywood's 2 locations for the best selection of doors, floors, moldings, and more.
Windsor Plywood.
Joe Biden's open borders have threatened our neighborhoods and our children's safety. Fentanyl-related deaths have increased right here in Idaho. Gang members transport fentanyl and other dangerous drugs into our schools and communities. This has got to stop. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. It's time we control the borders and shut down the pipeline of drugs and violence into Idaho.
Watch 4 News Now as the Extreme Team upgrades the Carl Maxey Center. What we're going to do is go in and get you into the next phase of operation. That's going to be a new library. There's going to be a place in back. There's going to be a nice patio. Watch 4 News Now's Extreme Team, sponsored by Horizon Credit Union.
Considering selling your RV? R&R wants it. Tired of paying storage fees? R&R needs it. Just don't use it anymore? R&R will buy it. Due to a critical shortage of pre-owned RVs, R&R RV is currently paying absolute top dollar for your used RV. Any year, any make, any model. Turn your RV into cash or flip it for a newer model. So if you no longer use it or want it, let R&R RV buy it. Visit the R&R RV Superstore in North Spokane or call Ryan at 509-244-5888.
4 News Now is brought to you by Skelton's Carpet One, Lewiston.
Breaking news out of Stevens County. The Sheriff's Office is asking everyone living near Lake Terrace Court on the east side of Loon Lake near State Route 395 to stay inside and lock their doors. They believe an armed and dangerous man is in the area. They're also asking if you see anything suspicious, call 911 immediately. This is a developing story, and we will update you as we know more. You can also look for the latest online at KXLY.com and on our social media pages.
Well, there's something strange in an Oregon neighborhood.
Is it Ghostbusters?
It might be. This is just in time for Halloween, too. Sony Pictures is teaming up with rental company Vacasa to offer a stay in the Ghostbusters firehouse. So it might not be located in New York, but it has all the essentials, including,
Ecto-1?
I remember Ecto-1. Okay. I saw that in the teleprompter and thought, what in the world? The Ghostbusters emergency vehicle is there. Ghost traps are there. The proton packs. This is all great.
I would wear that nonstop.
This is only $19, Chris. $19.84. So I think that's worth it.
Wow.
Most of those vacations.
I want to get to those Wildlife Wednesday photos that I wasn't able to show you real quick. Scotchman's Peak, Rick Caldwallader. Gorgeous mountain goats there, beautiful wood duck drakes from Courtney Litwin. I love this photo from Jerry Rawls of a mama moose and twins at Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge. He said the twins rolled over and fell asleep, took a snooze shortly after this photo was taken. And from Van Widner, a Kootenai Valley coyote with a very sneaky look on his face, certainly up to no good there.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're making a lot of assumptions about this coyote.
I'm safe in that assumption. Anyone who lives around coyotes knows they are wily.
They're known for that. That's true. She's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you a little later for Nightside.
Download the 4 News Now app today. See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.